African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of August 18, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 4 mechanized, 2 airborne assault, and 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Leninskoye, Andriivka, Alexiivka, Stepnoy, Varakino, Novaya Sek, and Unikovka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of mechanized, motorized infantry brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Lesnoy, Tykoy, Volchansk, and Ambarno in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost more than 175 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 5 cars, 2 field artillery guns, and an ammunition depot. Units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position, inflicted damage on formations of 2 mechanized assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Doroshavka, Kupiansk, Novosinovo in the Kharkiv region, Petrovskoye in the Luhansk People's Republic, Shredny, Kaladizi, and Kirovsk in the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of the Armed Forces of Ukraine amounted to up to 250 servicemen, 3 tanks, including 2 Leopard tanks produced in Germany, 7 armored combat vehicles, including 3 HMMWV armored vehicles produced in the USA, 2 Mastiff armored vehicles produced in the UK, 15 cars, and a self-propelled artillery installation. Destroyed were a combat vehicle of the Grad multiple rocket launcher system, 7 electronic warfare stations, an N/TPQ-50 counter-battery radar station produced in the USA, and 3 ammunition depots. Units of the South Troop Group improved their position on the front line, inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 4 mechanized, airmobile brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Berstok, Pleshchivka, Novodmitrovka, Seversk, Nikolaivka, Fedorovka, Klebenbyk, Konstantinovka, and Ivanopoli in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost over 245 servicemen, 4 cars, 3 field artillery guns, including a 155mm FH-70 howitzer produced in the UK, and a fuel depot. Units of the Center Troop Group took more advantageous lines and positions, inflicted damage on formations of 3 mechanized, airborne assault brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Udaknoy, Dmitrov, Rodinskoy, Grodovka, Novo-Alexandrovka, Krasnoarmeysk in the Donetsk People's Republic, and Filia in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to more than 415 servicemen, a tank, 5 armored combat vehicles, including an M113 armored personnel carrier produced in the USA, 6 cars, and an artillery gun. Units of the East Troop Group continued to advance deep into the enemy's defense. They inflicted damage on the manpower and equipment of a mechanized brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Alexiivka, Vorono, Zaporozhko, Novopetrovskoye in the Dnipropetrovsk region, and Algovsko in the Zaporizhzhia region. The enemy lost up to 235 servicemen, 2 tanks, 6 armored combat vehicles, 8 cars, and 4 field artillery guns, including 2 produced by NATO countries. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on the formations of a mountain assault brigade, 2 coastal defense brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 3 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Stepovo, Stepnogorsk in the Zaporizhzhia region, Tokarevka, Nikolskoye, and Antonovka in the Kherson region. Up to 80 Ukrainian servicemen, 11 vehicles, 3 artillery guns, for electronic warfare stations, an Israeli-made radar station, and an ammunition depot were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces troop groups destroyed 16 units of automotive equipment, up to 100 long-range UJ-22 and Palyanitsa-type aircraft drones at the launch preparation site, as well as inflicted damage on the drone operator training center, fuel and lubricants depots supplying fuel to the armed forces of Ukraine, temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries. In 148 areas. Air defense means shot down 4 guided aerial bombs, 2 HIMARS multiple launch rocket system rockets produced in the USA, and 141 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the start of the special military operation, destroyed 665 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 78,100 unmanned aerial vehicles, 625 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,643 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,587 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 28,660 field artillery guns and mortars, 39,862 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.